Hi everyone, it's Jen. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a tutorial for Scrap Diva Designs. I had shown this project in a previous video. This is the file folder mini album. And I asked if anybody would like me to show you how I made mine, and I had a couple requests, so I thought I would come on and show you how to make one of these. Now this die set is very versatile. You can make different mini albums, put different configurations of the mini album, but I'm just going to show you my way how to do it. If you want to purchase this die set, go ahead to Scrap Diva Designs. I will leave a link down below. There's my referral link, and also if you use the code Strawberry Cream at checkout, you'll get 10% off of your purchase. So let me show you the die set first. In case you need a refresher, this is everything that it comes with. So like I said before, it's very versatile. There are different pages, page sizes, embellishments, pockets, slots, all sorts of things you can use to make your file folder mini album. So for mine, just to show you again how I made mine or what I put in mine opens up like this. And then there's another inset page as well, and there's this is a little flap that opens, and I'll show you how to make this little closure here. Here is where you could put a couple of slits into your page and stick in some embellishments, or just like small pieces of ephemera. This side I made a pocket so I could put some journaling pieces, and I added a tab here. I'll show you how to do that as well with the die set. On this side I added some photo corners to slip in some cut aparts, and then I added another pocket here and added some tags. And when you close it up, there's another pocket on this page here as well to put in some bigger pieces of ephemera. And then I added a loop of elastic here with a brad and a button underneath that brad to lift it up a little bit to keep it closed. And I will show you how I did that. All right, so let's get started. This might be a long process, so hopefully I can fit it into one video. If not, I will make two parts, but let's start with the first part. Okay, so there are two sized bases, okay? Let me get out those dies to show you. There's this one and this one. This one has two flaps you could see on either side there. And then this one has three. There's also one on the top of the die. So the one that has two flaps on it is a little bit bigger than the one with three flaps. So it makes it kind of easier to put pages together, because if you're folding pages on top of each other, you want the page that goes in first to be a little bit smaller. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So anyway, so for the one that has the bigger piece, the one with two flaps, you're going to cut two of those out of heavyweight cardstock, and you're also going to cut out two of these smaller ones, so two of each. And that's what I did with some AC cardstock. So these are the pieces with two tabs, but once you do that, once you cut out two pieces with two tabs, you're going to go ahead with scissors or a paper trimmer and cut off one of the flaps. Just that's the way that I'm putting mine together. So maybe with some other configurations you don't need to do that, but for this one, go ahead and cut off a side flap so you have one flap on the base piece. Okay, and then for the smaller one, for this smaller one, I just folded the tabs in, but you're gonna just leave it the way it is right now. And then, yeah, so that's for two of them. We're gonna leave them like that, and I'll show you how to attach those. All right, so we have our base pieces, and I'm going to, off camera, I'm going to add some double-sided tape to this side of the flaps, and I'll be right back. So I put double-sided tape on the outsides of both of those tabs. These are the bigger base pages, and we're going to stick these together. So take off the tape on one of the sides and just use a pokey tool or your nail to get off the top layer of the double-sided tape. so it's nice and sticky. And then you're going to go ahead and tape it to the other side, or you're going to tape it to the side that doesn't have a tab, just like that. Okay, I'm just going to put it down to do that so I can see a little bit better. And just right at the end. Okay, it's not quite at the end, but that's fine. And then I'm going to take a bone folder and just smooth it down on the inside. So this is going to be the cover, and this is going to be the inside. Okay, and now for the right page here, the page on the right, we are going to go ahead and cut off the tab on the left so we could stick it together right there. Okay, so we have our base piece here, and we're going to take the double-sided tape off of there. And then stick that onto your smaller piece. Actually, I'm just going to do it this way. It's a little easier to see. Okay. So it's coming together. So you may be wondering why there's this flap on the top here. This is just in case you wanted to do a page that flips top to bottom. You don't have to do that, and I'm not going to do that for this project. So what I'll do is just glue this flap down. You could cut it off, but you might as well just use it and glue it down. It'll just make the page a little bit stronger. So yeah, this is so far the base of our project. So let's do the inset page now. The inset page is this one here that has the tab on it. So we do have this smaller base piece that we cut out already. So I want to go ahead and cut the tab out before we glue it into the book itself. So the tab dies are these here. There are 3 different ones. So the way you do that is you would put that onto your page, and then, well, the other way, obviously. So it will cut and run it through your die cutting machine. And you can do it wherever you want it to, you know, whichever size you want to make your tab page. I'm just going to put mine like right in where the flap would be, kind of like that, you know, just kind of guesstimate. It doesn't have to be anything specific, but I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine, and I'll show you what it looks like in a sec. So it looks like this, and then you can go ahead and use scissors or a paper trimmer to cut off these sections here, so just the tab is kind of sticking out. I tend to use a paper trimmer because I can't really cut that straight, so I just line up. Let me zoom in so we can see better. Okay, so see this little dash line here on the tab? I line that up with the cutting groove on my die cutting machine, or die cutting machine, on my paper trimmer. See, I'm trying to think while talk, or think ahead, and it doesn't work. So anyway, yeah, I try to line that up on my paper trimmer, and then you can make your blade go up to that first notch, or close to it at least, like that. And then do the same thing for the top one. Just move the blade so you don't cut all the way through that dotted line. Okay, so I left a little bit there that I'm going to cut with scissors. So let me zoom back out. And I'll get my scissors, my smaller scissors, and just continue that cut. now it has that tab sticking out. And I should have cut this off too. I'm going to do that right now. The bottom tab we don't need. All right, so this page is taking shape, as you can see. Now this one is going to go right in here. But before we put that in, I want to round the corners like I did on this one. You don't have to, of course, just I like doing that. So I have this corner rounder from We Are Memory Keepers, and I'm going to use the 1/2 inch, oops, so sorry. I'm going to use the 1/2 inch side. And just do that. Voila. Okay. So this is going to go, I guess it doesn't matter. I think, yeah, I'll put it in that way. And that'll go right like that. So I'm going to put some double-sided tape here. And then you just put this, see where that flap is, just tape it right on top of that one. Makes it nice and easy to see what you're doing if you just follow that line. Get your bone folder. And do all this taping and stuff before you put the layering pieces on it. So it's going to go like that. Now, when this folds down, it should fit in nicely. Yeah, that'll fit nice. So you can see how this is coming together. This is the base of it. I am going to, let's see, I'm going to tape these two flaps down. Like so. So the paper collection that I'm going to be using today for the layering pieces and for the embellishments is a Doodlebug one. This one came out a couple of years ago. It's called Cute and Crafty. And I don't have too much of the paper left, so I thought it would be a good project for that because I do have a lot of the ephemera left. So I thought I could use the papers for the layering pieces and then put ephemera in like the pockets and the tuck spots and that sort of thing. This will make a great gift for a crafty friend because it will have all of the crafty related ephemera and cute little decorations in there. So that's what I'm going to be using. I did go ahead and cut out some pieces, some layering pieces. I cut out 4 rectangles of for the bigger base pieces. So cut out 4 of those, different papers or, you know, whatever you want. And then you're going to cut out 3 to 4, I think 3 of the smaller ones, but I cut out a few because I wanted some options of which ones to use. So I think we'll need 4, but we'll see as we get going, okay? So for the first page, for the cover, I'm just going to take one of the bigger pieces. Oh, these are the smaller ones. Okay. So the bigger ones, which is the one, okay, this is the one I wanted to use for the cover just because it's such a cute pattern and it won't need too much else to embellish the front. So for the cover, I'm just going to glue that on, and I'm going to use some Beacon 3-in-1 craft glue. Again, use whatever adhesive you would like. Now for the inside layering pages, we're going to think first about how we're going to use them before we glue them down, because with some of the like little pockets and things, you need to cut those out before you glue them down. But for the cover, I know I'm not adding any pockets or anything, so I'm going to glue it just to get us started. And I think this base paper that I chose looks really nice with it. It's nice and vibrant. The base paper, of course, is AC cardstock, which you guys know I use a lot for 3D projects. Let me show you the packaging. This one is like the tropical variety pack, and I had purchased this from Zulily. These are all the colors it comes with. So I have like pastels and neutrals, and yeah, So you know I like this kind of paper. Okay, so that's the cover. We're getting somewhere. I'm going to try to make this just like I made this one, the same kind of pockets and things like this. So on the inside page of the cover, I added this little flap. And this is a piece of ephemera that has a removable pop dot on it. So to cut out the flap, you're going to take a layering piece. And the layering piece will be a big piece because this is a big base piece. And I'm going to use this one. And then you'll need the die, which I moved over, so hang on one sec. Okay, so this is the die that will cut out the flap. So I'm going to put this, just, you know, kind of generally where I put the last one, on my paper, and I'll be right back after I run it through my die cutting machine. So I cut that out, and you can see it leaves one side just scored, so it flap opens like that. And then there's a layering piece that goes on top, which I cut out of, out of this paper. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Might as well do it before we glue it into our little mini album. Love all of the stitch detail on this, right? There's double stitching there. Love it. Okay. And then if you wanted to, when I made this first one, I neglected to put the brad in before I glued it, or before I glued the layering piece down. So I had to add an extra little base piece, which is the heart, for the brad to go behind. But I like how that looks, so I'm going to do that again. So, and the brad is there so that this part will swing, so it'll keep the little flap closed. It's just such a cute little interactive touch, I think. So I cut heart out of some pink cardstock. And then I cut that swingy part out of that same like teal one. And the brads I'm using are from Recollections. I got these on clearance. Remember when they had like their brad clearance, everything was $1? That's what these are from. So I'm going to take one of those. Put it through the swingy part, and then the heart. And then when you move the sides of the brad out, or the arms, I don't know, whatever you call these, if they're a little bit too long, you could trim those. That's what I do for a shape like this. So, because you don't want to see them from the front. So I just take like my little snips and just take off a little piece. Like that. And the other one's fine. So I think we'll wait to glue that on until we stick it in our book, because that'll take a few minutes to dry and I don't want to move it around too much. So when you glue this in, you want to make sure that you don't glue behind the flap, okay? So take your glue and go all the way around, but avoid the flap. So I'm going to take this and put it on our inside page, inside cover page. Make sure you don't cover the part where it bends. I like this glue a lot because it doesn't warp and it takes a couple minutes to dry, so if you need to slide your page around, you can. Okay, so that's that page. Now let's move on to this page. So this one, as you could see, I cut 2 slits into the page before I glued it on, so there would be room for ephemera or whatever to go in the middle there. And I used the middle size of the slit dies. So I'm going to take one of my pieces that I cut off, and this will be one of the bigger pieces. Actually, I think I'll use this one. I think this is the one I plan to use here. Yeah, and I'm going to cut 2 slits in here on my die cutting machine. Okay, that's all done, and we're also going to glue this on because I forgot to do that before we started on this page. So for this, just add some glue to the top part of the heart, leave the brad, let it swing by itself. But yeah, just add glue to the top part of the heart, and then put it right above the flap, like that. All right, so we're just going to let that set and try not to bump it too much. All right, so back to this one. I'm going to glue this on, add glue on this side all the way around, and then add, if you want to, add some glue down the middle so the things that you stick into the top pocket won't slide all the way down. You don't have to, but I think it makes it easier just so stuff won't get lost in there. So there's glue all the way around the edges, and then I'm just going to add 1 bead of glue across like that. And that will go right over the flaps, so it gives it a nice finished look. And that way you have 2 nice pockets there. And it doesn't look like much now, but once you put things in there, it looks really cute. And here I had glued on some ephemera, so we'll decorate this too at the end, but for now we're just getting the base pages done. Okay, let's move on. Actually, let's go on to, we have this inset page, but I want to do this page first, the one on the end. So that will be one of the smaller pages that you cut out, smaller layering pieces. Let me zoom back out. Gus is going in and out. I'm not sure what he's up to, but anyway, yeah, so this is going to have a pocket. So maybe we'll use maybe this for the base piece. And then we'll use one of these, since I have so many of them, for the pocket itself. So maybe this heart would look nice as a pocket right there. Yeah, I think that would be cute. Okay, so to make the pocket, it's very simple. As you can see, it's stitched all around, and that is because you cut out one of these layering pieces. And then you take one of the edge cutout dies, like this one, and just lay it on top of this page and run it through your die cutting machine. Then you have a pocket. So that's what that looks like, all cut out. So this will go right on top of that, like that. So again, we're going to add glue to the 3 sides. Don't glue the top. Press where your glue is. So there's your pocket. So we're going to glue that right on top there, and you can glue the whole thing because there's no slits or anything. Okay, so there's that. Now on the back of that page, I had made another pocket. So I'm going to basically do the same thing, except use the tab die to make the pocket. So I'm going to take, let's see, and I'm going to use one of the tab dies. Which one did I use here? Different? Let's try something different. I'm going to use this one and cut out, put it right there and cut that out. Be right back. So I cut that out and then cut off the excess here with my paper trimmer. So you have that cute little tab. So this will be a nice little pocket to go on this page. So I'm going to glue these 3 sides. Again, leave this one open. All right, so there we have our pocket. So it's coming along nicely here. We still have to put a piece on the back, and then we're going to decorate or put our layering paper on this inset page that we made. So for the inset page, I made a pocket there as well. So this inset page is a little bit smaller than the smallest layering rectangle. What I did for this one is I took one of those rectangles and then I cut it to the correct size just with my paper trimmer, you know, based on the page that I made. And then I rounded the corner and then I added the edge die. So I am going to trim this layering piece to size first. And to do that, I'm just gonna kind of wing it, see what size I need. I'm gonna mark where I'm gonna trim it. And that is, let's see, about here. So I'll get out my paper trimmer, cut at that line. Okay, and that's going to go here like that. But first, I'm going to round this corner here. This one we're going to cut off so we don't have to do that. Okay, so I rounded that corner. Just show you what we're going for here. So that'll fit here. Then I'm going to take one of those edge dies again. And you can use the same one you used for the other pocket or a different one. I'm just going to use, I think this is the same one. Yeah, the same one. And then I like how it looks diagonal like that. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. So I'm just going to cut that out right now. It's cut out, so I'm going to glue the 3 sides. Press it onto the page. Oops. So it's looking pretty cute, right? On this side, I'm going to add some photo corners like I did on this mini album, just to hold some pieces of ephemera. So when you do that, you want to make sure you put them in the right place, the photo corners. So I cut out 2 here out of some of the coordinating cardstock. And then let me just get some of the ephemera that we're going to put in there. So these are cut aparts from the Cute and Crafty collection. So if we take like, let's just do like 3 of them. Oops, knocked over my glue. And just to see like where they should go, where the photo corner should go. About there and there. So I'm going to use this 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape just to get the corners or the edges of my photo corner. Like that. And then there. I'll do that for the other one as well. All right, so we have double-sided tape on one corner. Just going to put that down like this. And then do the same thing to the other corner. Okay, got the tape off. And just stick that down. Being careful not to get the cut aparts on the tape. So there, we have the cut aparts perfectly positioned inside the photo corners. So it's looking cute there, right? All right, what do we have left to do for the main parts? I guess just the back. This is still drying, so just be careful about that one. So if you flip it over to the back, we have a big inset piece to put there, and I think this is the big one. Yeah. So I'm going to glue that. Okay, so the main part of the mini album is done, and that's still drying, so I want to be careful, but it's going to fold like that. So I'm going to show you how to do the closure next once everything is dry.